Good day, it's Egg. Today we'll be taking a look at the real grade GaoGaiGar, a model kit released by Bandai in 2022. Safe to say this was a very welcome inclusion in the RG line, and something I was so excited about that I didn't even buy until a year later. GaoGaiGar is just the coolest thing ever. I mean, this is a kid's daydream brought to life. What if there was a robot dude who transformed into a lion and then a bullet train, stealth bomber, and a drill car smashed into him, and he became an even bigger robot dude? That's how all great mecha is born. When I was 17, I would get a Little Caesars pizza and sit in front of the TV to watch a few episodes of this anime. It was fun for a little bit, and whenever I see GaoGaiGar, I think of the questionable and inconsistent sauce on those pizzas. Well, there's a lot to look at with this kit, so let's break it down and start with GaoGaiGar. This dude is a great model kit all on his own with a very fun and unique build. The chest comes together nicely with the cool lion head, and the shoulder and back joints are very interesting. I had a ton of fun putting the GaiGar together, and the end result is great. You get fists and open hands for him, and a connector piece for an action base, which will become more useful later. Look at all the fun things we can do with this guy, such as opening the lion's jaw and moving out the lion claws. This is lovely. I don't think there's anything else to cover here, so we'll just move on, of course. There's a transformation. If you've seen my Zeta Gundam video, you already know how much I dislike transforming model kits, and this is a real grade, so surely the results will be completely different. Well, the golden goose is on the loose. The GaiGar is actually fun to mess around with. It transforms as smoothly as if it were a Beast Wars figure. I'm in awe. Nothing came apart, nothing annoyed me, and nothing made me rethink my life. It was just fun. The lion mode even looks pretty decent with a cool tail that flips out from the back skirt. The GaiGar is the most fun you can have with 6 inches. There are lots of panel lines to fill in on this dude and some stickers to apply. The head is pretty small and I applied the orange paint all wrong, making it seep through the back. But getting caught up on these little mistakes is how I ended up with a backlog of partially finished kits in the first place, so I just ignored that. I had lots of fun building the GaiGar and there is nothing finicky or annoying about the transformation. That said, you want to be careful about how you put the head into the chest, because the first time I did it, it got stuck and I had to take it all apart to get it out. Also, GaiGar suffers from Eggk style tiny feet that can make him a bit tricky to stand up straight. Otherwise, this little guy rocks. Next up, we have the Liner Gao, which is a train. It's literally just a train. It was fun to build with its own inner frame and lots of detail. There are stickers for all the windows, which look quite good. I love how many different things we get to build for the GaoGaiGar. By the time I was making the train, I was already excited for the next part, which is the Drill Gao. Here we have Dr. Robotnik's Wet Dream. It was a lot of fun to build with some really cool mechanisms inside. The treads are built up of individual pieces which sometimes fall to pieces. This was an interesting part of the build. It's a vehicle made to pierce the heavens. Next is the Stealth Gao. The construction is great and it has a really cool look. The color separation is to die for, with the 3 gold G's being their own piece. The helmet is stored inside on this interesting spinal joint. The faceplate is a tricky piece to keep in place. You'll hear more about that later. Likewise, these bomber pieces that store the hands can be tricky. You'll also be hearing more about that later. We have some preliminary forms to look at before we get to the big show. First up, we have the train plane. You just add an extra piece under the Stealth Gao and wow, this is weird. There's even an extra connector to attach this to an action base if you have a strange urge to display it. Here's the GaiGar and Stealth Gao. It looks a little bit familiar. When the GaiGar gets cold, he can put on some huge drill mittens which even have their own dedicated undertow joints to fit onto the arm. And why stop here? Might as well give him a backpack so he can take his Lunchables to school. But you're not here for a fashion show, at least I don't think so. You're here for some good old 4th of July, IHOP, Miller Lite, Sweet Home Alabama type glory. You're here for Final Fusion. It's annoying. This transformation is not overly fun to do. It's not a RG Zeta Gundam type of ordeal, but there are still a lot of moving parts. The drill car splits up to go on the legs, and it can be difficult to slot them inside. I used tweezers to help me with a lot of steps in this transformation. The stealth Gao is where things really go out of hand. Parts kept popping off the helmet, and that damn faceplate is so hard to get in place. It's so small and difficult to grab. It popped off so many times before I was able to slot it in. The mane also gave me trouble, and it constantly had to be adjusted, even when the kit is finally transformed, since both sides don't slot in very nicely. This is the second time I've transformed this kit, and I don't have any intentions to do it again. It's really cool what Bandai was able to pull off here, but I find no pleasure in this. Well, we better dry those tears and wipe off those sweaty palms though, because after that few minutes of struggle, the end result is here. It's the GaoGaiGar in all its glory. Let's get the obvious out of the way. This is awesome and I love it. The incredible design of this mech is perfectly captured, and every aspect looks so good. The train shoulders, the drill knees, the jetpack. There is just so much to look at with this guy. In terms of size, the GaoGaiGar is in between a high grade and master grade kit. Its very bulky legs go for that old school styling rather than something more sleek, which I like, but it makes it more difficult to find a good pose, which brings us to the most important question. Is the real grade GaoGaiGar fun to mess around with? Well, using your eyes is better than your hands with this kit. This thing isn't untouchable like your celebrity crush, but you may want to calm your nerves before you get your grubby hands on it. There are some issues here. The right hand on my kit is just awful. The index finger pops off more than a Pop-Tart. These hands are shaken cold, but they aren't mine to hold. It is eggifiably not fun to mess around with. For accessories, we have the dividing driver. It's a really cool piece with a spring inside, along with shiny pistons and a shiny screwdriver blade. There are lots of cool aspects to this piece. It slots onto the wrist, but it doesn't hold on very well. It does look really cool once you get it on there nice though. We also have the giant hammer, just kidding, that's P Bandai. We don't get all the tools out of Dad's toolbox here. The broken magnum sounds cool, but it's just a rocket fist thing. There's an extra piece to connect it to an action base if you have a compatible one. There are a set of conjoined hands to do the Hell in Heaven move. Also, the head just exploded when I tried to pose this, so I have to fix that. Anyways, the hands fit pretty well, but something about this bothers me. They make me wish that there were other hands for this model, so we didn't have to deal with only the posable ones. Also, these fingers are gray, where the other hands have black fingers. A small inconsistency. This green thing is the Protect shade. You get a sort of underwhelming effect piece along with two green clear parts that slide on the hand. I honestly don't think this looks very good, and I wish it was a plastic piece or something a little bit shinier. This kit does a good job capturing some of the GaoGaiGar's key attacks. Bandai did well engineering this kit with all the complicated aspects going into the build, but in the end, it's a put in one pose and display kind of kit for me. I didn't really enjoy handling this guy at all, and I actually found it very difficult to pose. I certainly recommend this kit for something different, which is sometimes what we all need. Even though I'm complaining about the transformation and some of these other things, it is a really amazing feat of engineering, and the end result is, look at it, it's beautiful. I could just cry. The GaoGaiGar shows how something new can be a great spark to re-inspire you. I don't know about you guys, but for me, once I get deep into a hobby, I often reach the point where I get stuck. It goes from being a fun new thing where I'm discovering new techniques every time and seeing notable improvement, to getting caught up in little mistakes and suffering from a sort of mental block. Oh, I can't carry on with this kit because there's a small stress mark here. Better leave it sitting on the table until I buy another kit from the hobby shop that'll magically save me. My backlog is made up of miracle cure kits. In the beginning, I was doing kit after kit, finishing everyone and moving on to the next one with excitement. Now it's more like, oh, look at my backlog. Oh, this is gross. I wish I didn't have all these kits. I shouldn't have bought them. At the end of 2023, I threw away a lot of kits that I was never going to finish, and it was both liberating and sad to see all of those projects just go right in the trash. I used to love drawing and I made comics, but now I can't get past basic sketches before I get a mental block. I've made a bunch of songs, but whenever I pick up a guitar, I can't come up with anything that excites me. This curse has even carried over to model kits. But sometimes you need something new to get the wheels turning again, which the GaoGaiGar did for me. It's not another Gundam kit, it's different. There's all these cool pieces and a big transformation you're building up to. Even if it's a bit annoying to do, it was still super fun to build this kit. There's a sense of excitement and joy with this guy as it comes together to form one of the coolest mechs ever designed. Model kits are fun. This is meant to be a fun hobby. So go on everybody, dare to make mistakes, dare to try something new, and dare to be stupid. That's all I gotta say in this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed it and subscribe if you want. Until next time, bye bye.